Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about miracles here. And Father O'Shea was driving down to Boston on Christmas Eve when he got stopped for speeding in Medford. The highway officer smelled alcohol on the priest's breath and then saw an empty wine bottle on the floor of the car. He said, "Father, have you been drinking?" "Only water," replied Father O'Shea. The policeman asked, "Then how come I smell wine?" The priest looked at the bottle and said, "Good Lord, he's done it again." Terry, you didn't like that one?
I love it.
Oh. That's right. There you go. He did it again. And anyway, I was, as I'm looking, it's kind of fun now to sort of do a little Google search and find these little jokes and also tidbits. And I found something interesting, and I can't really, Snopes said that it wasn't true, and other sources said it was. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to share it with you because I think it's a great little story, and it certainly is significant and something to consider either way, if it's the actual truth or not. But maybe after I share this, someone will be able to enlighten us on this. But it says from 1558 until 1829, Roman Catholics in England were not permitted to practice their faith openly. Someone during that era wrote this carol as a catechism song for young Catholics. It has two levels of meaning: the surface meaning plus a hidden meaning known only to members of their church. Each element of the carol has a code for a religious reality that the children could remember. Know what the song is yet? 12 Days of Christmas. And it says here that the partridge in a pear tree is Christ. The two turtle doves are the Old and New Testaments. 3 French hens stood for faith, hope, and love. The 4 calling birds were the 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The 5 golden rings recalled the Torah or law, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. The 6 geese a-laying stood for the 6 days of creation. 7 swans a-swimming represented the 7-fold gifts of the Holy Spirit, which is prophecy, serving, teaching, exhortation, contribution, leadership, and mercy. 8 maids a-milking were the 8 Beatitudes. 9 ladies dancing were the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. 10 lords a-leaping, the 10 Commandments. 11 pipers piping stood for the 11 faithful disciples, and the 12 drummers drumming symbolized 12 points of belief in the Apostles' Creed. So it says, there's your history for today. Well, I find that interesting, whether this is a true background story or not. It certainly gives new meaning to the song for me. So something to consider. How many of you guys have seen the movie Love the Coopers? Yeah, okay, there you go. Well, did you like it? I know one person didn't care for it, but that's okay. It was funny, okay. So anyway, it was a cute movie. It's actually playing right down here at the Flat Rock Cinema. And it's just a funny movie. And what makes it funny is, the reality of how we can all relate to this plight of this family. And it's basically 4 generations of Coopers come together for their annual Christmas celebration. A series of unexpected visitors and unlikely events turn the night upside down, leading them all towards a surprising rediscovery of family bonds and the spirit of the holiday. And I loved it because, first of all, it had a great cast in it. Diane Keaton, Alan Arkin. I swear I thought he was dead. I didn't know he was still alive. But he was excellent in the movie. John Goodman, Amanda Seyfried, I don't know how you pronounce her name, but the cute girl that was in Mamma Mia. and a load of other, everyone just played a perfect role. But what was so wonderful was the reality of it, and the holiday stress and trying to create the perfect holiday, and just how it just blows up in your face, and all the pressure that we put on it, and all the family dynamics and everyone getting together. And I mean, what they did, did a great job. I don't want to give it away. I know Terry hates it when I give away the movies, but
what have I done to you today?
Each character is developed through in the beginning, and then it's just so insane. And much of it, those of us that went, we talked afterwards, and this person said, well, I can relate to this part of it and that part of it, and everybody had their role that they could relate to in the movie. But the beauty of it was, at the end, how it all came together. And I'd love to share how that happened, but I won't. But it was a cute movie and a great, just a great holiday film. And get you, I mean, there was some deep stuff there. I mean, even though it was funny, which I agree, there was, it was like, wow, that's true, and that's true, and that can happen. And I think we can all relate to the insanity and all the pressure we put on ourselves over the holidays. And this is a great time for us, I think, to not take it so seriously. One thing that I found was we had our beautiful Thanksgiving dinner here just 3 days ago, and many people came up to me and said, what was so wonderful about this was there was no stress in the preparation of and worry of the meal, because everybody brought something, and that makes it so much easier, and people helped set up and people helped tear down, and it was just beautiful, and we got along and we had fun. And so it can be easy, and it's wonderful to have holidays at home. I know my sister, she said, well, I'm taking dinner to my parents, mom and dad. I said, oh, are you cooking? She says, no, I'm going to Bob Evans and picking it up. So I said, well, you go for it. So, but it's like, why not? It's like, and if you want to cook the big meal, why not there too? It's really just do what feels good. We put so much pressure on ourselves. Have pizza, whatever. It doesn't matter. And also, I'm being reminded, silence your cell phones. So so anyway, we're here to trying to create the perfect holiday, but really the perfection is in the imperfection, as I see it, and that's what makes it more meaningful. Life would be pretty boring if it was just all smooth sailing, but and so it's these opportunities for healing and growth that are so wonderful, the imperfections, and not only at the holiday dinners, but in life in general. And to see this all come together in this movie, and the great healing that occurred at the end, that's what it's all about. And so when we experience these things, just quietly ask yourself, how can I see this differently? How can I be in this differently? I choose peace. I want to be the peacemaker. And not in the point of being the martyr and the person who has to fix everything, but just be that state of peace and just be that loving presence. Keep it simple. Don't get stressed out over everything. Stress is optional going into this holiday season. And I found this little quote here. It says, once again, we find ourselves enmeshed in the holiday season, that very special time of year when we join our loved ones in sharing century-old traditions, such as trying to find a parking place at the mall. We traditionally do this in my family by driving around the parking lot till we see a shopper emerge from the mall. Then we follow her. In very much the same spirit as the 3 wise men 2,000 years ago followed a star week after week until it led them to a parking space. So there you go. So it's like,
So, no cause. You need like a place to put that.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yes. And so anyway, it really is about, all that we've made these holidays to be. And certainly, the reason for the season seems to be forgotten sometimes. And in the meditation, I was expressing and choosing for us to go inside and tap into the truth of who we are, that light, that love, because we are the light of the world. We are here to be that light, to remember that light. And that's what Jesus' birth, in my opinion, represented. He was here to bring forth this beautiful light and the remembrance of who and what we are in truth, which is the light of the world. I am the light of the world, and each of you are the light of the world and nothing else. All else is an illusion. And I also like this thought. There's really only been one Christmas. All the rest are anniversaries. Something to think about. How about that? And so it's just, this is an anniversary, like our birthday, Maddie and Mary. It's like a remembrance of who we are. And so it's time, I think today, my choice and my desire is for us all to recommit and together to not get caught up in the stress of it. Really, anytime that stress comes in, take a breath and say, no, I maybe put your hands on your heart and say, and breathe into that and focus on that, the truth, the reality, and let everything else come from there. Well, going back to the light of the world, you know, in the Aramaic teachings, it says, you are the light of the world. You cannot hide a city that has been built upon a mountain. And that is us. We are that light. Each and every one of us. Everyone. No one is exempt from that. We are the light of the world. And as a matter of fact, every single, and I always love to think about this, and I heard this years and years ago. I heard someone say something along these lines, and it's so powerful because, you know, we sometimes think we're little and we don't really have any purpose or meaning. But actually, every piece of the universe, even the tiniest snow crystal or grain of sand, matters. And I have a place in the pattern, and so do you. And the universe, without that one grain of sand, is incomplete. The Course in Miracles says God is incomplete without me, because we all are part of the oneness here. And it's about us working together, you know, co-creating, supporting each other in love, being that light of the world, and coming from that space that enables us to really live our true purpose in a much more meaningful way than maybe we have in the past. And of course, to remember, you know, that we're not alone. You know, a lot of people, they get lonely over the holidays. You know, maybe you've lost a loved one recently, or maybe your family's out of town, or just you don't feel like you have any connection, but you do, and we do here. And so we've got great things happening over the holidays, and I'm sure that anyone, if you wanted to pick up the phone and call somebody and just talk to them or go out for coffee or tea, that would be a welcome call. I know how you guys operate. I know that we're not alone here, truly not alone. And of course, another thing we can do is get into service and be able to say, okay, there's lots of opportunities out here this holiday season to be of service. Maybe it's buying gifts, maybe it's ringing bells, or helping the elderly get a good meal. Whatever it is, you know, ask yourself, believe me, the opportunities, if you set that intention, take that breath and say, how may I be of service, your opportunities will come. And whether it's in a phone call, running into somebody, and it doesn't matter how simple the gesture may seem, they're all meaningful. They really are, because all expressions of love are maximal. And I love, you know, the idea that Christmas is not so much about the presents and opening the presents, but opening our hearts even bigger and wider. And that's what, you know, we're here to carry into the holiday season. And if we do all these things, if we take this intention into our heart, we can't help but have a great holiday. I know that for a fact. So in closing, this is my wish for you, that we have peace of mind, prosperity through the year, happiness that multiplies, health for you and yours, fun around every corner, energy to chase your dreams, and joy to fill your holidays. So let's move forth in peace together. Peace and love prevail on earth, and so it is. Namaste.